Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 about how do I know if my adult child has hit rock bottom. I know so many of you are dealing with that, and so I wanted to do this 2-part video. My name is Sally Harris, and I am a mom who walked this difficult road with my own daughter for over a decade. And when her life spiraled, so did mine. And I gotta tell you, hitting rock bottom, like I mentioned in part 1, rock bottom for me with alcohol was a very interesting journey, but yet my daughter had her own rock bottom, right? And so every single person is different. In today's video, I want to talk about the difference between pain threshold and misery threshold, because I think they're very relative to rock bottom. So as the rock bottom in general can differ from person to person, so can pain, right? So for example, like pain threshold, you and I can handle different things when it comes to pain. I guarantee you're probably a little stronger than I am. You know, there's some people who maybe have one child and they give birth and they're like, I'm never doing that again, right? There's no way, like that was too painful. But anytime you feel physical pain, and it could be influenced by, even your genetics, it could be influenced by past experiences with pain. And we're talking physical pain, right? Physical pain, the pain threshold of, I'm not going to get a shot. I'm not going to get an injection. I'm not going to get an IV unless I absolutely have to, because I don't like pain. Some people could care less and they don't even feel it. And I can tell you, my daughter has an extremely high level of tolerance of physical pain, which is very interesting to me with everything she's been through. I think your body just kind of creates that pain threshold higher than the average person, because just the things that you've gone through in your life and had to survive. So it's very interesting how that works. But let's talk about the misery threshold. So this is what I want to get into when it comes to the situation with your estranged adult child. When it comes to misery threshold, so the pain threshold is physical. The misery threshold, I'd like to say, is what you feel emotionally or psychologically. So the two different ways of looking at it. So it leads to a state of misery, unhappiness. We start not feeling good. We start not liking our situation. We start some of you are realizing maybe that in other relationships, not only with your kids, but maybe your work or your spouse or your friendships, all of these things, you start having this threshold, this misery threshold of like, I can handle being unhappy, but then I reach this point. You might say I reach this threshold of point where I just can't do anymore. And that's when relationships can go, bonkers, right? Because whether it's you or your son or daughter, maybe they have you have different levels of resilience of what you're able to tolerate, just like pain. There's no right or wrong. A lot of it's past history, like I said, even genetics sometimes, but I believe more past history and what our brain is holding on to and trying to protect us from things that have happened emotionally and physically in our past. And we can get overwhelmed by emotional distress or unhappiness. And both of these thresholds are subjective, right? It's not an absolute. It's very subjective. Like your misery threshold might be stronger than mine, or mine might be stronger than yours. And you know how a lot of people will say, wow, you've been through so much, I could have never handled all of that. Well, number one, until you've gone through something, I don't know that it's accurate to say you couldn't, because we're all a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And you, mama, I know you are stronger than you're giving yourself credit for right now. And I also believe your kids are stronger than they're giving themselves credit for. So we can be overwhelmed by these emotions, and just when you think about describing the point of that threshold, if you picture it, like an iceberg, is it, is it just gonna pop off? Are you going to feel like you're losing your mind and you've just had enough? Maybe that's the situation with your child. Maybe something that's happened in the past, whether it had anything to do with you or not, maybe they're taking it out on you. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't, right? There's so many scenarios, and like I said, it is very subjective. Every family is different. There is no cookie cutter approach. There's no two families that are going through the exact same thing. And so I just want to encourage you today to remember that, and that, you may have 2 children. Their thresholds are going to be different. They're going to handle situations differently. And so just like you need the grace, right? You're asking for grace. Like maybe it's maybe you're not able to handle it very well. You know, that's your responsibility to fix that, right? It's my responsibility to fix me. It's your responsibility to fix you. And it's okay to ask for help, right? It's okay to ask for help. But there can be a lot of resentment when it comes to all of this. And if resentment is something that you're dealing with, I want to encourage you. I have it's pretty much the last chance now. If you click the link below for my summer workshop, I have a workshop on resentment coming up on Saturday. And so I'd love to see you there. You're more than welcome. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, all things resentment in that day. But I want to just encourage you with your misery threshold, if you're thinking about your son or daughter and how far is this going to last? How long are they going to be gone? How long are they going to, be living the way they're living in an unhealthy manner? Because you and I may be able to see with our two eyes in the natural, we could see that, wow, how could they even be handling that right now? They must be miserable. Well, their misery threshold might be higher than yours. You and I might not be able to live on the street or have people treat us a certain way, or maybe they're not thinking very highly of themselves and they're putting themselves in situations. Their misery threshold is higher than ours, right? So I just want to encourage you with that. Just another thing to think about when it comes to your adult children. All right, I'll see you next time.